house husband, yelped Josie. We should call them dobbies, I said, and right there our code was born for the people in our life that were so focused on being with someone romantically their entire life that their personality was based on it. They became little elves, cleaning after and protecting their man and having no identity, or at least a trustworthy one, with others. Mabi was a Dobby too. Now, Andrew, check that girl. She continued in our three-way phone chat, which made me feel like a 90s girl at her first sleepover. We were all in our PJs scrolling on how to start our own business after realizing that dedicating your life to build the businesses of others, particularly men, will leave you broke, unless you are an elderly white man from the boomer era. That guy is economically fine. But for the rest of us, we had to take a mind your own business approach, literally. Yet she was telling me to check how I start relationships with people or who I'm starting relationships with. And I was already clocking it because I was in my all about me era, especially financially. Yali was becoming a chef after years of being so praised for her cooking and overwhelmed by a post pandemic world of nursing. Josie was going to start her own PR firm and was determined to turn her first two clients into icons by next week, while I was trying to figure out how to accept that I was on my own as a singer, writer, and actress and how to find my own world within that world. It was official. No one was coming to save us, and in between the regret and grief of that truth, we had to Google and gossip. Didn't Nina say Andrew dropped his tech job and is taking acting and cooking classes? Said Yali casually. All things to entertain his husband, giggled Josie. He has no direction beyond his man's life, and you are here for it. You are not. I don't know, actually, because he does not like women at all, not even in friendships. Josie was making very real, harsh statements. At a dinner, Andrew had declared in front of Nina, who was black, and myself, a Latina, that he was looking for more ethnic, wealthier friends. We both passed away at the statement, but Nina could handle a truck hitting her in her face and act like nothing if she bonded to the trucker. Her ability to give her heart and believe someone was good until they were not is in part why I related to her but also felt distant. I was done with my they are nice era and totally ready to enter my villain one. He was racist, misogynistic, and now a Dobby. Let's get over him. We don't need another Mabi, Josie said, and right there was the wedge. Mabi was an old friend and a pick-me. My entire life had always been the bestie of a pick-me, and I now realize it's because they made me as harmless as I made them. Very rarely have I ever gone out with a friend and had a guy pick me over them. I've never been a mistress or even considered cheating or stealing a man. It's not in my heart, and according to them, it was not in my features. Mabi always wanted a boyfriend, and it is in our culture. Most of my fellow Latinas by 12 had their first childhood boyfriend, while I was too busy manifesting residente, and still am. The moments we knew Mabi without a boyfriend could be deduced to perhaps a year in the life, with weeks and days simply gathered. She loved being with someone, and the key word was someone. It did not matter who, and Lord knows she dated a what? Yet, as her childhood friends, we felt a loyalty to her because that is a major flaw, yet magical thing about day ones. They hold our childhood joy, but part of why our childhood got so messed up is because we could find happiness with something as little as a cardboard box. Mabi was now an asshole's wife and mother to his son, and we were her occasional chosen friends to make herself feel grandiose, despite her existentialism, at knowing she was just always that, the woman to a man. I'm so glad I'm not dating. It sounds horrible. She giggled in judgment. I'm happy I'm married and I'm mommy. We had not seen her in 2 years, or at least not in a group setting, and we had picked up a certain pattern with Mabi. She always came around and became fun with us when she was not having fun with her man. All her life, her fights with her partners usually led to a girls' night out or a meetup where she became the biggest, most opinionated personality to quietly be texting the male counterpart, erasing that side of her. She was boisterous and bombastic for what felt like a day, because by morning or night the dust was settled and she was back to feeling important because she was back in the relationship, despite her man usually forgetting that they were in a relationship with her if the bar was open. Well, just remind your husband that. Josie sipped on her mimosa, and Mabi's eyes flared. What the F does that mean? She said aggressively. She had gone from feeling a false sense of relief that she was no longer in a dating world slash cesspool because she had a man that was more likely in that dating slash cesspool. We knew she was there because they were having struggles, and she was more open about them via the group chat than she would remember at this brunch. Why are you here? Josie said bluntly. You don't come around unless your man is not around, and that is not a friend. So why are you here? I was invited. What the F are you talking about? She declared again. Mabi was not the best word fighter, and the instances I saw her in rage were mostly filled with a La India playing in the background and a clothing bonfire that was filled with her boyfriend's clothing. Am I crazy? Josie said. Like, am I crazy? We were all on mute because we were about to witness a confrontation between two people that would never say the truth, even to themselves. Josie really liked Mabi, and there was a time she was closest to her over all of us. But Mabi was close to no one but her partners, and that bothered Josie because she liked someone that only liked to be in love, never to be in friendship. She liked a Dobby. All right, let's discuss. Let's heal. Um, so let's pick it apart, right? Um, so I was talking to, first of all, part of why I'm in my villain era, and I find it very ironic that people call it the villain era, is because I am becoming more self-centered. I am becoming more selfish. I am becoming more self-focused because I want to be more self-actualized. I want to be more self-loving towards myself. And you kind of do need that retreat and that reflection and that introspection. And it helps you financially, particularly for women. Like, we are not paid equally to men. And having these male bosses, these male friendships, these male partners, these male family that kind of leech on to us is what's killing us financially as much as unequal pay. And it's something that I really realized when I had that reunion with my dad and Daddy Recovery was born, of kind of, I this is a man that stole from me, that stole from my mother, and is has no apologies, no humility. I did what I had to do, and you two dumb bitches died. And Andrew, I went to dinner with him and Nina, and he said these really horrible things in the nicest tone. And that was triggered my daddy issues because that was the the kind of biggest move that, when you realize in perspective, was so small about the men in my life. They talked nice. They knew how to say the worst thing in the most banal way. They were gaslighters. I really don't think you should wear that dress because it's tight and you've gained weight. And if I say it like that, it sounds banal. And then I keep on saying that. And then after a while, I'm just directly saying you're fat. And that was the thing about Andrew. He had been laying the seeds of, I'm kind of using you to fill the gap until I find my person. And he kind of looks like this sweet, good guy, but he says some really malicious things. And he was starting to date this guy who would become his husband finally. And he said, I'm looking for more ethnic people. And I'm like, Nina's black, dark skin black. Okay. We're both Latinas. What ethnic are you looking for? I want wealthier friends. And I was like, oh, okay. You want a white skin. You want the wealthy flavors, right? Got a little spice in that bland salmon. Um, And it was this moment, it was an aha moment for me, but it wasn't an aha moment for Nina. And it's something that I'm trying to reflect in terms of my relationships because I do have a few friends, and I don't know if they're the last of the Mohegans. Mohicans? Oh, I don't even know that movie. Or is that a casino? Oh, God. Anyway, she's somebody that will judge me more for judging him over how he judged us. And I have a few friends that do that to me. And I don't know if it's because I'm still drawing in and I need to cut that pipe when I'm ready. People that don't allow me to be angry, people that would judge me more for being angry because I'm usually not, over somebody who's like moody and irritable and kind of malicious like Andrew, but know how to paint it as I'm just messy, I'm just lost. because I do have a few upcoming episodes, and one where my friend introduced me to her messy friend. Like, this girl is a hot mess. She's 45. She's going to Sweden because there's a guy there that might actually love her. She's wealthy. She's Colombian, but she really owns her Spanish roots. I'm like, oh my God, I get sleepy. And we got this little tiff because sometimes people, who I am, people pretend to be. Who I am, people pretend to be. I am powerful and I'm kind. And it's weird to see somebody use who you are as a strategy to get more than you can get while being authentic. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to strategize my authenticity. I need to strategize how genuinely good I am to get that shmoney. Because these fake bitches are thriving. And I was, she kind of like, the tiff ended, the tension rose. She went to go comfort that girl, but she didn't go to comfort me. And it's something that I've clocked. And she comes to me when she needs comfort. And it's something that I've clocked. And she said both were in the wrong. And I was like, no, no, no. She was in the wrong. That bitch is crazy. That bitch, you travel with her and she left you in different countries like 3 times. You know how dangerous that is? I won't even leave you in your own room if you're too drunk. I had to sip on that tea. But Nina, we got into a tiff later on because she's like, he's still nice. I know it was wrong, but I'm wrong for calling out wrong. And that was my childhood. I was deemed too sensitive by people that A, didn't want to realize the wrong that was happening to them, in part because they had to take accountability for either the wrong they were committing or the wrong they were taking from others, or B, they just wanted that person more. They didn't want me. I don't know who made everyone believe that compassion is the equivalent to just lying down like a doormat, but it is not cool. Then I'm losing my compassion. And I'm particularly losing it because, and it's something that I noticed with Yali and Josie. Yali is focusing more on herself. She's learning, we're all learning more skills and picking up businesses because the male counterparts we have had, not only in partners, but as bosses, didn't promote us, didn't pay us fully. And there comes a point where you're like, I'm in a red zone of I could really spend my whole life taking bare minimums from men in all spaces. Because it's in friendship spaces, in like with Andrew, in boss spaces, like in my work, especially as a freelancer, in family spaces, like with the men in my family or the women that blindly fear them or support them. And that's what frustrates me. We have mouths for each other, but not for men. And when Nina kind of said, you're being too harsh or let it go, that was a red flag for me, for Nina. And that's hard because I think I have the tendency to paint everybody's heart like it's mine. And one thing that I've always liked about Nina is, she really does want to love before she hates. But if she's hating me on how I love or how I love myself, then she's not absolved of being hateful. Ooh, as I say it, I might end the friendship right now. Damn, I might be ending friendships, people. So Andrew's, trying to be an actor, trying to be a chef, left his big wig job, but is really a house husband. And it reminded Josie of Mabi. And that's a really tricky subject because I think I understand the betrayal that Josie feels that Mabi will never know and that Andrew will never know. And it's that we liked these people. We were having genuine fun. They were having a distraction from their search of finding a husband, or a distraction from the pitfalls of realizing that when you make your romantic partners your sole identity, when the romance is gone or the romance is at a low, you have an existential crisis. And that's a good time to have friends. The problem is if I'm only called to you When you only call me when you're having an existential crisis, I'm not your friend. Or rather, you're not my friend. And that was the thing about Mabi. She was always in relationships. And the older you get, the harder it is to have these loose, toxic relationships without it chipping at you. So, this is, when you're a teenager, like dating these losers, you're in high school. They're not allowed to be that big of a loser, and you're not allowed to be Juliet, okay? Cut the Romeo. And all these things that are funny and lighthearted become more serious when you are older, because he goes from a cheating 16-year-old to a cheating 36-year-old that you have two kids with. Like things become weightier and you can't not take it seriously and not have something die inside of you. And Mavi only comes around when she is fighting with him, and or just, and it's to kind of be like, thank God I'm not in that cesspool, thank God I'm not in Bumble, thank God I'm not trying to date, thank God I have a man who maintains me. Maintains what? Maintains what? Sustains what? The day he hits 55, he'll leave her, because the midlife crisis is very real for men, and it's absolutely insane because you're fine. Everything is in your head, including your own power. In the same way men's power is in their head, our insecurities are in our minds too. And I think what is so hurtful about being friends with a pick me, and I am checking myself on that because I've been the friend to pick me's a lot. And I think there's a part of me that's always been, my family made me feel so unlovable. Like I would never get a partner, including my mom. Like I was just too much of a mess, too sensitive, too unforgiving. And I realized it's because they were all messes. They were all horrible. They were all traumatized. They all had these really toxic patterns of love and being loved. And I took that to heart of maybe I'm just not good enough or being good enough to people to be loved by them. That's why they leave. That's why I should accept this person with more red flags than a a parade. And I Josie really liked Mavi, and I did too, because she's fun and she could be lighthearted. But I think we all entered this era of I'm tired of being used. I'm tired of building people's self esteem while not having one, or not fully in relishing and building mine. Because I realize I've always been the most confident person to be insecure. And it's because I was raised with a measuring cup. I couldn't laugh too hard. I couldn't be so bold. I couldn't be so loud. I couldn't be so kind. I couldn't be so forgiving. But the flip side of that is when it was convenient, I had to be more kind, more convenient. I should have said more. And that inability to just ever be the proper measurement for love has kind of made me retreat in isolation and have a little bit more introspection, because I can't do that shit no more. And Josie's over it. Josie's way bolder than me. And I think we attract people that reflect sides of us. And Nina reflects this side of me that's kind of, that needs to die. Of everybody's good, everybody wants love, and love is compromised. And Josie, I'm becoming more attracted to her in her fieriness, because she's cutthroat. She's cut off. Like, you're out of the Titanic. I'm saving myself in this boat. And I want to be like that. Because you can't just go for friends that are like you. You have to go for friends that you want to be like. You want to be like their money. You want to be like their mentality. You want to be like their personality. You want to be like their heart. You want to be like their mind. That, and you admire them. And everything is balance. So, Mabi came to this brunch and she said it in this tone. I can't really capture the tone, and I don't like to tone monitor, but I also feel like intuition doesn't lie. And when a whole room of people or setting of people shift, it's because we've all picked up something. We've all picked up a pattern, and that is, again, Mabi comes around when her husband isn't. And Josie clocked it, and I don't want to go into the whole fight because it was just da 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 da. It was like that Nicki Minaj sound that when trending, like just a lot of saying, and it's tricky. I think women are often shamed for how they handle betrayal because we are betrayed more, and I don't think in general, beyond gender, we discuss enough how impactful friendship betrayals are. And that's including men. I am like, especially with how big we make male friendships and bromances, I know there are men who have been betrayed. And I think it's rough for them in a different way, or maybe in the same way that, and it could be bridged. Of just like, I have seen my guy friends be betrayed by their bros. And everybody looks at like, handle it, man. You know, we're not like those women. We're more forgiving. And I'm like, this guy just got stepped on by his bro. And now I'm judging you for how you define broing. Because some betrayals like that hurts. That hurts. When somebody betrays a bromance, because they never betray, especially because men have convinced themselves they are the most forgiving people to not be forgiving towards women. So they have this kind of camaraderie built on this perception that we don't take things as seriously as women do. And there is a healthiness to that. And I think that there is truth to that because there's also a privilege. Like, damn, if I'm getting paid as much as you are, shit, I'll forgive. I will forgive a lot. Sips that tea, which is why I'm focusing on my money. And but it's also this inability to allow men, particularly men, to allow men the feeling of being genuinely betrayed, being without and going through the emotions and thoughts that men have too. I don't know why they're denying it, especially if they call themselves leaders. I want a thoughtful leader. I want a sensitive leader. Um, allowing them to go through the process of like, wow, this my friend who I'm in a friendship group with just is sleeping with my wife. What? Just took half the money I put in a business we were going to do together. So he claimed, like these are really big betrayals. This, we're not going to do poker night again. Poker night is canceled because I've been gambling on my lifeline and I thought we were only at the table. And I think with friendship betrayals, there's that saying of friends are the family you choose. And Josie chose Mabi, and Mabi only chose men. And she has always been like that. But when you're a childhood friend, it's hard to see that because, like I said, that's the thing about day ones. You kind of trauma bond with them because when you're a kid, you're like the most lighthearted person to kind of breeze by some really messed up things. And it's like, oh, my mommy hits me too. My mom hits me too. Chancletas, ah, you know, and you'll make a cardboard box into a castle. But as you grow older, you lose that resilience and you start to realize, oh my God, like I don't even have money for an apartment. I got to get a roommate. No castles in sight. More cardboard than ever. And we were very loyal to her. And it's been a little, there is a little grief because it's like you're losing your childhood and you're losing your perception of this person that was all illusion on your end, and you can't help but feel dumb, but also like people aren't replaceable. They are, in that you will find new people to love and they will maybe share qualities, but I want to give grace. There's an essence to people, a magic to people that can be really frustrating if they lose it or they define it as I'm only magical when I'm with a guy. And that's my beef for you. That is her. She is her. And Josie really liked her. They really bonded. They have a great personality click when they are on good terms. But, why be friends with a Dobby? And we were talking about that because we were talking about Harry Potter and How Dobby, like he's the house elf. He's just made he's what was he? Which was he was the Malfoils, right? And then he got the sock and he got freedom. That's what these people do. Like they date the most toxic, messy men in the toxic, messiest families and just clean up their house, clean up their hearts until they find a new family to gain freedom with. How you doing? These damn dobbies, they're everywhere. Check out daddyrecovery.com for my written stories and my work, my poems, my songs. Check out the Andrew Reviews at all for my entertainment reviews and follow me everywhere. Let's laugh, let's love, let's heal together, okay?